So we came to PLI. I had my vicarage supervisor recommend it to me. He said, when you get out, go find PLI. They teach you things that you didn't necessarily get at the seminary, and you get it in a way that will actually help you use it in your work as a pastor. I didn't expect to need it so intensely and so deeply through the challenges we had. It was a church with a lot of great people in it, and also a lot of culture that had focused on other things, really resistant to change, very much a lot of siloing and personal ownership of what people thought God's mission was. And so I ended up in PLI earlier than I thought, and it was an absolute joy. We weren't able to pay for it. The church had no interest in it, but thanks to donors, we actually were able to get it covered for us in cost. And so we were able to just pay for traveling. And so we went down to, we started off by going down to Nashville, and we got to meet a bunch of the PLI team there at the time. And it was, in many ways, life-changing. It was actually really hard for me because it was a lot of unlearning and relearning while being in the midst of some challenge. It had been right before we accepted our first call out of seminary that I had been going through years of figuring out what's going on with a medical diagnosis that still took years. It took actually moving. And so long story short of what I have is a paralysis condition. It's extremely rare. The more stress you have, the more paralyzed you get. And so being in a inherently stressful role in God's kingdom as a pastor, and then having a community that piled on stress, made it where I needed PLI to actually say, you are not okay, and it's okay, right? Like, you have value despite your brokenness. We know that from Jesus. So how do you protect this in yourself? And then I think the best part is that we really didn't have a healthy community at our church. And so when we went to PLI, gathered with those people, we had friends and now a kind of a family to support us and say, how are you doing? We're checking up on you. We know about rhythms of rest. We know about care and the stories of broken people in God's kingdom. How are you doing? And that was something we hadn't had yet.
I feel like we're being taken care of, and that it's not on my burden or just my husband's burden to care for ourselves, like that we can receive that, and that is also a journey of faith, and maybe like a picture of what it means to support each other, even with like that simple thing of, okay, well then go home, or yeah, go take the Sunday off, because it's one Sunday, it's one afternoon. Like, it's not so important that the mission doesn't continue. I think the work that he did, whether on himself internally or externally, so that others could see and help him prioritize. No, our pastor needs a Saturday off. He needs a full day that he's not responsible. When he goes away to PLI or when he goes on vacation, he's not taking the church phone with him. And I think having the words to help people, right, like elders, and say, it's not just I'm shoving the work on, it's you help me take care of myself and take care of my family. And just having those words to speak to other people and help them, oh, I can actually help my pastor, not by paying for his vacation, but taking a load off his shoulders because I'm going to answer the phone or because I'm going to do this or that.
Admittedly, it was very challenging. One of our leaders felt the exact same thing I did when I started, which is that this is a lot of openness. This is a lot of camaraderie that I maybe have never had before and didn't know what to do with it. And so there are sometimes leaders aren't necessarily ready for it, but in terms of our entire staff at St. Peter's, we're just always bringing up the tools. When we have an all-staff meeting, we are talking about, let's talk up, in, and out. There are times we end our worship service and we'll just put a big triangle up there, one of the tools, up, in, and out, the integrated life, and we'll just kind of share that with the congregation, just to like, hey, this one's accessible, this one's available, we'll do that. So I've shared it with our college ministry. We call it Harbor. It's at Fair State University, where we have an online high school, but they meet in person. The high schoolers have been taught some of these basic tools to prepare them for adulthood in the faith. So if you're at St. Peter's, whether or not you know it, you get PLI. what I would say to anybody thinking of supporting PLI is that here in the United States, the work is important. I am one of, I think I can think of 5 or 6 pastors, in addition to myself, who would say I'm still in ministry because of PLI. I would not be here if I did not have someone basically pay and then shove me into PLI and begrudgingly go through it and come out going, thank you, Lord, for what I didn't even know I needed. It is harder in America. The culture is different. Oftentimes, I think the thing really burning church workers and eating through pastors and their wife and their families, and I have names and faces in my head I'm thinking of right now, where our culture in many congregations is serve me, not how do I serve the mission. And trying to turn that ship, lead it well with the proper amount of patience and yet conviction is really hard. And PLI creates a space and a training where you get the community to do it and also the skills to do it. And if we didn't have that, we'd have an even bigger problem of even fewer pastors, and then they wouldn't be as well trained and supported. And we would notice